She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We're very, very blessed that you decided to join us today. Today, we're going to talk about you and being a champion. You see, in life, some of us, and it seems that even as we get older, we care about winning a whole lot less. But is that the right thing? Is it the right attitude? Is winning an attitude? Is it really just that? Interesting quote here by Billy Cox, a basketball player from the 1940s and 50s, where he says, "You can't win physically if you're losing mentally." You know, I think if you and I were really honest with each other, and if we were to look at our lives through the scope of winning, I think there would be a lot of losses in a lot of areas. Why is it that once we get through school, whether we did sports in school or we didn't, whether we won a trophy for writing a great whatevers, you know, that the people in the liberal arts kind of kids, they win things for, or ribbons, or, you know, maybe it was 4-H, you know, maybe you were involved in the 4-H program or whatever kind of extracurricular type things you did, or even theater, or just downright sports like me, basketball. I played basketball for over a decade. I know that team sports really played a big part in my success as a mom, as a wife, and as a businesswoman throughout the years. But recently I got really strongly convicted as my family just wanted to watch, and they are movie marathoner type people, and I'm not at all, but they wanted to watch Rocky, the whole Rocky series. And so we did. We watched all 8 of those movies, all the way to the movie Creed, which really is the extension of the Rocky story. Phenomenal. It really was life-altering for me at a time where I really needed to hear that message. In fact, since the beginning of the year, winning has been a theme that has been speaking to me. And as I began to look at my life through the scope of winning, I was not very happy with some of the things that I had seen, like not at all. There's some places where I've just downright gotten lazy in. There's some places where I've just kind of lost the heart of a champion. And I believe that there is a champion inside of you and inside of me. And I believe that when we start to live life according to mediocrity, that we just don't get good at anything anymore. And so what if, like, let's just think about this. What if we took this concept of being a champion and winning, and we looked at our finances through that scope? We looked at ourselves as a married person or even a single person, as a parent through the scope of winning. What if we looked at our careers or businesses through that same scope? What about our spiritual life through that same scope? What about our physical body? Where would we rate ourselves as a champion, or as just a all-out loser, or even somebody who's on the shelf? Like, not even on the bench, not even engaged in the game, but more like, a bystander, just someone who's watching someone else play. Here on the Dani Johnson Show and at DaniJohnson.com, you know that we are big on bringing you challenging concepts, strategies, and skills, and, you know, questions that cause you to go, I don't think I've ever thought about that before. Right now, you might be feeling a little bit of the burn that you had when you were in high school with that volleyball coach that made you run the bleachers, like mine did so many times that I couldn't get out of bed the next day. Yes, as much as that pain hurt, at the same time, I had reached my top, my absolute best physical fitness, and felt unstoppable in that season because of a coach that pressed me. So what are we going to talk about today? Yeah, don't turn the channel. Dani, you're going to make me feel bad. No, I'm not. You're going to feel really good about a plan that you're going to have after the show is all done, because you don't want to be mediocre. Come on, man. This show is about your success. It's about defining success for you. And if you think for a minute that you can use society's version of success to feel successful, you know you're living a lie. Their version of success is buy. That's their version of success. That's a lie. Especially when you get your credit card statements, right? Okay? Their version of success is buy, not have a successful marriage, not being the kind of parent that you'll be proud of yourself being versus, I'm a pretty good parent. There ain't nothing good about pretty good. And there ain't nothing good about pretty good. You ain't satisfied with pretty good. You're not. So what are we going to do about it? Well, you and I together, let's hold each other accountable. You and I together are going to stretch in to a new realm, to a new place of bringing ourselves forward out of ruts, bringing ourselves forward out of comfort zones so we can truly have the success that we desire. As I'm eating a hair, there we go. I found the hair. It was in my mouth. Okay, so what does it mean to win? What does it mean to win? What does it mean to win to you? We've got somebody on the phone. We've got a few people on the phone that want to talk about this idea and this concept of winning. We've got Leah Allen from York, Pennsylvania. Leah, what does it mean to win?
Thank you, Dani. It means to win is to keep getting up even when you get knocked down. That has been my experience. That's what it means to be a champion.
Yes. So what if the knockdown seems like you're down for the count?
Well, I can relate it back to a pivotal time in my life when I was working for a boss who was, he had just taken over the position for the person I was working for, and for some reason he decided that he didn't want to work with me, and he was trying to make it as uncomfortable as possible, and he wanted me to leave, and I was just sticking my guns. I was not going to leave. I was going to fight through it.
Wow.
And I remember having really emotional moments, literally crying in front of him. And he said, women shouldn't be crying. You shouldn't be crying in the office. And he was just really mean. And I remember being super depressed at that time. And then something happened, and I went to an emotional intelligence seminar. And when I went to that seminar, I learned what it meant to be strong emotionally. And I decided to do the work I needed to get strong. And I decided it was okay to walk away from that job and get another job and to build myself back up. I actually took a pay cut. And that decision changed my life when I took the power back and didn't let him control me and control what was going on. I thought I was in control, but I wasn't.
Right, obviously.
And when I took
Obviously, you were out of control if you were having emotional breakdowns in front of your boss.
Exactly. But I thought
he
I was
in control.
Because,
yeah, no.
Right, because I'm standing my ground, but that was silly because it was hostile.
Yep.
Anyway, long story short, after I changed jobs, I got really strong emotionally. I worked on me. I worked on my insides. I ended up starting my own business, and he ended up sitting in front of me when I was on the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce and asking for money, and I got to have authority over him, and it was the most powerful, redeeming moment.
Okay, now let's analyze this. This is so awesome. You are literally the classic example of becoming a champion in a certain area of your life. Okay, now how did you do this? It's really simple. You went and trained yourself. You used self-discipline. You found the solutions. You did not just sit back, stay depressed. You were not playing the victim, but you worked on you. You helped yourself become a champion emotionally, and by becoming that champion emotionally and mentally, it produced results, and now you had authority over the one who was bullying you.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
It was amazing.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And to me, like, success always has like tracks. You know what I mean? It always has the same formula no matter where you go and what part of your life. And so I'm sure that skill right there has taught you something that I'm sure that you've used in other areas as well. Okay, we're going over to Kathy Walker from Gatesville, Texas. Kathy, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. And tell me, what does it mean to be a champion? What does it mean to win?
To me, it means not giving up ever. Constantly striving to reach your goal. Even when you lose or fail, you're already looking forward. You're not worrying about that loss.
So even when you do fail, even when
everybody's going to fail.
Absolutely.
You just can't quit.
Yep.
That's what makes a champion.
Yep. So what areas of your life have you utilized this mentality?
Mostly so far just on getting fit. I had an extreme amount of weight to lose.
Wow.
And over the course of the past 2 years, I mean, I've failed many times, but I keep getting up and trying again. And now I'm down to the last 100 pounds I need to lose.
Wow. How much have you lost so far?
270.
Wait. Time out. How much weight have you lost?
270 pounds.
Did you just say you have lost 270 pounds?
Yes, ma'am.
Kathy! Oh my gosh! Will you
It's
please?
a lot of not quitting.
Oh my gosh! You have physically lost like 2 people.
Yes. Sadly, yes.
Not sadly. That's a champion. And you have another 100 pounds to go.
Yes, ma'am.
Kathy, hold on a second. I have got to learn from you. This is absolutely amazing. So let's talk about this. So before you made up your mind to lose 370 pounds, of which you've already lost 270 pounds, were you a champion before that?
No, I wasn't a quitter, but I wasn't a champion.
Yep.
I was just kind of in status quo.
How did you put that much weight on your body?
Just over time, just a lot of things that went wrong.
But I'm sure that in the last couple of years that you've lost the 270 pounds, a lot of things have gone wrong.
Yes, I just changed my mindset.
Yes.
And decided that it was more important for me to do this for me,
Yes.
for me to be healthy for me. I wasn't worried about other people. I just kind of quit worrying about other people and started worrying about myself.
Yes.
I mean, not that I don't still take care of my family. I do.
Of course. But if you don't take care of you and you don't get healing and you don't put on the champion winning mindset for you as a person, then you can't possibly love those that are around you effectively. You know,
Right.
I love this piece of wisdom that's floated around for like 4,000 years now, where it says to love your neighbor as yourself. That
Right.
means
And
loving your neighbor, you have to love yourself. This is Dani Johnson. Kathy, you stay right here with me because we're going to dig deeper into your story. This is amazing. You truly are a champion. We'll continue after this.
Has society kicked the champion out of you? You can get it back. Kathy will show you how she became a champion next on The Dani Johnson Show.
Do you dream about feeling more confident, more beautiful, more powerful? But instead, you're that girl that never learned to do their makeup and now you feel lost in a sea of YouTube makeup tutorials. Or you're that new mom that can't get enough sleep at night and just wants to feel pretty again. Or the busy professional that wants to magnetize brand new clients and get more respect in the office. From the boardroom to the bedroom, xmhbeauty.com will help you. Our company has a proven track record of making beauty available on any budget, from celebrities to girls just like you and me. Our live classes, step-by-step tutorials, and insider secrets will have you standing out from the crowd. Go to xmhbeauty.com/Dani today to get your free gift from us. That's xmhbeauty.com/DANI.
Prior to getting started with DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, we were spending absolutely every dime that we made. We were really struggling financially. Since plugging in to First Steps to Success just 4 months ago, we started a brand new business that is doing very, very well. We've paid off $4,500 in debt, but the most important thing is my relationship with my husband has improved like dramatically. I mean, we have so much more fun together. You know, I don't know about you, maybe your finances, you're doing great, maybe you're debt-free, maybe your relationships with your spouse, with your family are great. But if not, if you have some areas in your life that feel a little out of control or there's things that you need to work on, I highly recommend getting to First Steps to Success. as soon as you can.
Prior to being dragged out to First Steps to Success, I was hopeless. I had no point to life. It was a day-to-day existence, working a job I despised for people I didn't respect. Deeper and deeper debt every year. You just couldn't get on top of it. I just had no hopes or dreams, none at all, and there was no point to life. But since coming out, we paid off $280,000 worth of debt, married the woman of my dreams. I came to love my job and the people I work for. I have all kinds of hopes and dreams. I get to watch them happen every day. I don't know what your life is like, you know. There's probably tons of hope. You probably know why you live and you got places you're going, but if you don't, you need to sign up for First Steps to Success. You go to DaniJohnson.com and you click on it and be here, because your life will not be the same if you do.
Prior to First Steps to Success, I was drowning in debt. I was terrified of my bills, and I wanted to travel, but I never had the money. And since coming to First Steps to Success, in the last 14 months, I've paid off over $18,000 in debt. I've gone on 6 vacations, and I'm not terrified of my bills anymore. So if you want to learn some proven strategies to really learn how to connect with people, take your life to the next level, all while having a total blast, you need to get registered for the next First Steps to Success today.
Prior to coming to First Step to Success, we were totally struggling, totally under the weight of $640,000 worth of debt, making $20,000 a month, but living paycheck to paycheck. So when we came here, and I realized that it takes a totally different skill set to keep money, to create wealth than it is to make money, I have totally turned around our lifestyle. We have paid off $640,000 worth of debt in 2 years. We are debt-free as of June of 2013. I don't know where you're at. You might have all your finances in order. You might have a wonderful life. Your marriage might be all perfect and your kids are behaving. But if not, if one of those things is lacking, you gotta get here. Book your next event. You need to be here. You will not regret it.
It's time for a checkup from the neck up. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Could you imagine having a goal to lose 370 pounds? That's exactly where Kathy Walker has found herself. She's already lost 270 of the 370 pounds. We're talking about the mindset of a champion. We're talking about winning. You see, we live in a culture that has, I don't know, it's almost like neutered the concept of winning. Really, we've neutered it. Because, you know, when the kids are playing soccer, everyone gets a trophy, everyone's a winner. And when one team is winning too much, they say you can't score anymore. I don't think this is right. I think it's wrong. And there's neutered. Neutered is really it. Our society. And that no one's competing, or very few. Or that we don't understand the mindset of a winner. And in Kathy Walker's case, she decided years ago that she needed to become a champion in this area of her life with her health. And to her, it meant never quitting. Yes, you're going to fail, but you cannot quit. Kathy, how long has it taken you to lose 270 pounds?
Since November of 2014.
Wow, that is so fast. That's so fast. I'm blown away by this. You're amazing to me. You're really, really amazing to me. So you said that you finally came to the place where you stopped worrying about everybody else and whatever everybody else thought, and that you needed to start taking care of you. Yes. That mindset helped you do what? What did you do to lose all this weight?
Well, got rid of a lot of junk food.
Yeah.
Gave up a lot of things like sweet tea,
yep,
sugar,
yep,
most of the white,
yep, yep,
and worked on getting up off the couch,
yep,
and doing more,
yep,
and just moving more.
Yes, yes. And that has resulted in 270 pounds off your body. Now, this is something that's an important concept that I don't want anyone to miss, because this show, the Dani Johnson Show, is about your success and defining success for you. Everyone has a different level of success, have a different definition of success. But in success, the success equation, if you want to succeed in your case, losing 270 pounds, in the case of someone becoming a millionaire, or somebody having a passionate, harmonious, peaceful marriage, or being the kind of parent that you are just, man, you're solid emotionally, you are not trying to, make your kids live up to something they're not supposed to, but you're helping to pull the best out of them, who you are in your community. I believe in well-roundedness of success. And one of the things that is impossible to succeed without is self-discipline. Self-discipline is one of the key, most important ingredients for success. And what you just said is that you cut things out of your life. You became self-disciplined. You created a plan, and that plan had self-discipline. And that plan was baby steps in the right direction, right? Did you stop everything cold turkey, or one
No.
thing? Exactly. One thing.
And I
Go ahead.
still sometimes screw up.
Of course.
Just don't quit.
Amen. Amen. Man, Kathy, you have tons of authority to talk about being a champion. That's all I got to say. I'm serious. To lose 270 pounds in 2 years, 2.5 years, is amazing to me. That's a huge, enormous goal, and it was going to lead you to your death early. I know that even though you have 100 pounds left to go, you feel better.
Oh, yes.
How do you feel about you?
A lot better.
Yeah.
A lot better.
And how do you feel? How do you feel about you even when you fail?
Like it's just a small setback.
Yep.
You just start over.
Yep. And when do you start over? Like next week? Next month?
No.
When?
No, the next time you eat.
Exactly.
If you screw up at lunch, you don't just blow the rest of the day.
Amen.
You just get back on track.
That's right. And
When you start thinking, oh, I'll start over again next week. Somehow next week never comes.
That's right. And so you developed small habits in small places, giving yourself quick corrections, not long-term corrections, but quick corrections, and you disciplined yourself, as well as you've encouraged yourself that, it was a small setback. I can do better on the next meal, not the next day, not the next week, not the next month, but I've got the next time I make a choice to put something in my mouth, I'm going to choose wisely instead of what I just did. And you get over it.
Exactly.
Girlfriend, you're a champion. You're a champion. You have what it takes, the same exact ingredients that the Olympians have. They use that same exact form of strategies and same exact plan to help them win the gold medal. That's how they do it. That's exactly how you've just, in my opinion, won absolutely a gold medal with 270 pounds that you've shed off of your body. I'm so proud of you. You're such an inspiration to me. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Dani will be back with more expert business, money, and relationship advice to help you live the uncommon life. Stay right here for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
My name is Mario Johns. I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I just want to share with you on April 14, 2013, that was the first day I heard the name Dani Johnson, and I was so inspired by her story, and I just had to find out, how did she go from homeless to millionaire, and it was just so inspiring to me. So I went on DaniJohnson.com, and I started getting the daily emails, the daily fixes, and then after a while, I just stopped reading them for some reason, and August of 2013, it was 4 days before my first event. After work, I went on YouTube, and I typed in Dani Johnson's name came to my mind, so I typed it in on YouTube, and I sat at my kitchen table for about an hour and just listen to testimonial after testimonial. And I was just so inspired. I'm like, I have to get to this first steps to success. And I had no money. I didn't know how I was going to get there. The funny thing was, a week prior to this day, I got a credit card in the mail that I never asked for. It was a $1,200 credit limit. I was going to cut it up, but I figured I'd save it for like the emergency. I got my event ticket, my flight, and my hotel room. I maxed that sucker out, and I came down to Dallas, Texas. And the first 3 hours of the first day, I was just like in tears the whole time. I was just so blown away. It was something that I was just so hungry for. And prior to plugging in, I was a depressed, hopeless, suicidal drug addict. I hated myself. I hated life. I hated other people. I felt like a slave to debt, and I actually accepted debt as part of my life. I had toxic relationships, and I was, and then since plugging in, I've been drug-free for 15 and a half months now. I paid off over $13,000 worth of debt in a little over 13 months. I've completely restored my relationships with my family, my friends. I have amazing friends today from around the world. I love my life, and this is just an honor to be up on this stage. But if I just want to say, if you're new here, one thing that I wish I did is one of my favorite products is War on Debt, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't been following that as like I should be. My first event, if I got War on Debt and followed that with diligence, today I'd be debt free. So I just want to encourage you, if you're new here and you have debt, I highly recommend getting that, because that's by the end of this year I want to be debt free, and that's my goal. So please help me welcome back to the stage America's favorite millionaire, Dani Johnson.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Come on, Dani. It's not a matter of whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. You know what? There's some truth to what you're saying, but it does matter. Because if you are a champion and you've got the mind of a winner and the mind of a champion, you play to win. If you're playing to lose, why are you even playing? I know right now you're thinking, what are you talking about? Like, why are we talking about being a champion? Because you need to be a champion in your finances. You need to be a champion in your work life, in your marriage, your sex life, as a parent, with your food, with your physical body, in your spiritual life. You have got to be what you are called to be. You know, that great success book ever written, my favorite book ever written in the whole wide world, it's been around for 4,000 years, says that we are supposed to be worthy of the calling that we are called to, and none of us are called to fat and lazy. None of us are called to giving up days of our life because we choose not to be self-disciplined. As you're eating that pizza right now, that greasy cheeseburger. Listen, I've eaten my fair share of pizza. I've eaten my fair share of those burgers. Oh, and don't forget the giant gallons of ice cream that I have consumed, and the Skittles, and the Lucky Charms, and the Ruffles potato chips with homemade French onion dip. Lord knows that my life can be consumed with those things. But I gotta tell you something. I find that the older we get, less of a champion we are. Why is it that as people get older, the less wins we have? It's all because we choose to give up our self-discipline. We choose to have no self-control. It's because we choose to use our freedom to making ourselves walk into bondage. We do. We use our freedom to give ourselves bad health problems. We use our freedom to give us toxic relationships. We use our freedom to go into debt and to buy a bunch of stuff that we lose interest in. This is how we do it. This, my friend, is the model of the American dream. And I say you wake up from that nightmare and you design your own dream, because that truly is the result of it. That is who we have become. We've become lazy. We become unenergized. We become a people who are tired all the time and on antidepressants and bipolar medication. We have become a people who want to blame everybody for our lack of success, when all the while we have it within us to be a champion, and to be a champion in every single area of our lives. You have what it takes. You used it when you were younger. And if you're young, listen to me, don't ever lose that. You cannot lose that edge. It takes discipline. It takes self-control. It takes a plan. And it doesn't have to be a big plan, as you just heard from Kathy Walker, who's lost 270 pounds. It's like a small little plan. I just decided to cut out some sugar, and then I decided to cut out some whites. I stopped drinking sweet tea. I decided to start moving a little more. She has 370 pounds to lose, of which she's already lost 270. Okay, how has she done it? One meal at a time, she said. One meal at a time. What happens when you fail? I fail at lunch. That means dinner. I'm going to do it right. That is being a champion. So how can you apply that championship mindset to your finances with paying off debt, becoming an investor? How do you do that? How do you do it in marriage, becoming passionate in your marriage? How do you do that in your sex life, with your physical body, with your relationships, with your communication skills? Man, everything is simple. Simple little plan, small corrections. When you fail, you don't quit, you get up and you try again and you do better. And you learn what it takes to get better. Okay, we've got Byron Friday from Los Angeles, California, a former BMX champion. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dani.
Hi.
I've been following you since Secret Millionaire.
Wow. Well, I'm so glad you're here.
You're
Nice
my
to talk to
champion.
you. Oh, I've had some failures, that's for sure. But I won't quit. So you're a former BMX champion. How did you become that champion?
Became a champion by being laser focused on my craft.
Yes.
And getting up every day and having unwavering commitment to doing what I loved. The main thing is that I loved it.
Yeah.
And just over time, I met with fellow like-minded athletes, and we kind of would say formed an unofficial mastermind.
Yes.
And we pushed each other, and we didn't know it at the time, but because we were raised to be respectful and honorable and honest, there was a climate that we had within our inner circle and at the competitions, that not only were we performing at a high level, but we I would say we were gracious athletes. So it's just kind of elements of success, but it was all, I would say, because of being at the right place at the right time and having good parenting.
Okay, so I want to break this down because this is awesome. So number one, you said a laser focus. Number two, an unwavering commitment. Getting up every day with that laser focus and that unwavering commitment to win. Forming an alliance of like-minded other athletes that buoy each other up, pull the best out of each other. You stood for something, and what you stood for was the values that your parents imparted into you.
Yes.
You stood for honesty. You stood for doing it right, giving it your best, encouraging one another. This is what creates success. This is it.
Reading a book like Tom Peters, A Pursuit of Excellence.
Yes. And you know what I find in our culture now? Obviously, Byron, you're not as young as you were when you were the BMX champion. Now, you said that you lost it all. How did you lose it all?
Long story short, I was participating in self-harm.
Yes.
And as an athlete, I had the mindset of a championship performer on the track.
Yep.
I would say I was I was emotionally vulnerable.
Yep.
And I had a lot of excess baggage.
Yep.
I lived in the victim mode.
Yep.
And I didn't know how to get out of it.
So basically, Byron, you changed your focus.
Yes, I did. And by dropping my addictions, my alcohol addiction and my nicotine addiction, and getting some basic counseling.
Yes.
The dropping. Here's what I'll say: is dropping the 6-pack a night alcohol habit and the nicotine.
Yep.
Gave me the capacity for my brain to work properly.
Yes.
Combine that with some simple counseling. Nothing that you don't get in the Bible, that you don't read in the Bible. Okay. Yeah. I learned about I can pull myself out of my situation and become resilient.
Yes.
Become resilient by learning about how acceptance works.
Yes.
So I adopted the Serenity Prayer.
Yes.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change,
yes.
and the courage to change the things I can,
Amen.
and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yes.
Okay. The next component was grace, being graceful
with yourself and others.
And others, taking the high road.
Yes.
I when I'm dealing with unreasonable or cruel people.
Yep.
Taking the high road and just accepting gracefully that these people. What I learned is that people act the way they know how, and they don't know any better.
That's right.
So when I love a person unconditionally,
yes,
and I just accept that, you know what, this person may be overreacting right now and they're being unreasonable, but that's the only way. That's who they are, and that's the only way they know.
Yes.
So I just respect that, forgive and move on.
Yes.
Okay. So these fundamentally, just as a wrap here, these are things that are taught in the Bible. These are things that you will learn in counseling.
Yes.
And these are the fundamentals of how I took myself from a emotionally wounded soul.
Yes.
Okay, to a victim who was on a regular basis. I was in self-harm all day long. Okay. Okay, now I'm in self-care.
Amen.
My priority, Dani, my number one priority, and I get this message from you every week, either your Facebook page or your podcast. Okay, the message that you speak it's all practicality. It's emotional health.
Yes, it
is. Learning how our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Here's just one example. I'll let it go. Is in one of my therapy sessions, my
Byron, hold on one
Byron,
second. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm being told I have to take a break right now. Hold the line.
No
this
problem.
is amazing because you just shared everything that it takes to be a champion. And what you have shown is that the same thing that it took, that laser focus, right? Surrounding yourself with wisdom and truth, honesty.
Yes.
This has empowered the new season of Byron's life. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
When we come back, you have to hear the one little nugget of truth that turned Byron's defeat back into victory. You'll be shocked at how simple it is. Next, on The Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was working 60 to 75 hours a week. I was completely stressed out. I was incredibly angry with my husband. We were in over $350,000 worth of debt. By applying the strategies that Dani teaches, in the last 3.5 years, we have paid off $170,000 in debt. We are no longer roommates, and we no longer spend every single cent that we make. We now have made tens of thousands of dollars in passive income in investments. We are on the right track. We're traveling around the world together, and we are building homes for those who really need it. So I don't know about you, but if you want to cut back from 60 to 20 and 30 hours a week, if you want to mend some relationships, if you want to make your life more efficient and a lot more fun, and you want to be the best version of you, I highly recommend that you get registered because your life is about to change.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, first steps to success in creating dynasty, my wife and I were really lost. We were struggling in a relationship. We were struggling financially, drowning in debt. Our relationship was really broken. We were in a bad place. We were living in two completely different states and not really honoring each other. Once we got plugged into the community, we noticed a shift in our lives. Most importantly, we came together as a husband and wife. That was the first thing we did. And when we finally came together under the same roof, things started to change. Over the past 3 years, we've been able to pay off over $495,000 in debt. I know in my business, I've had a job created for me that increased my income by 50%. That has actually opened up the door to allow my wife and I to spend more time with each other. So I don't know where you are. I don't know if your relationship is super awesome. I don't know if your job is immaculate. I don't know if you're debt-free. But what I do know is if you're not any one of those things, your next step is to get plugged into DaniJohnson.com, go on the website, get plugged into the community. I promise you, your life will never be the same.
And prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was a broke college student, drowning in debt, and I felt like the world was crashing all around me, and I had bad relationships. Since plugging into DaniJohnson.com and First Steps to Success, I was able to pay off $6,600 in 4 months. Now I'm able to give 10% of my income to wherever my heart desires. I actually, using the skills that I learned from Dani, I actually landed a job before I graduated college. And I'm able to travel the world. All I know is if you're serious about annihilating your debt, traveling the world, helping people, and having fun doing so, I highly recommend you get registered for the next First Steps to Success. Do it now, don't wait, don't even thinking about it. If you're ready to change your life, just do it.
We went to our first ever First Steps to Success just 10 weeks ago, and it has definitely been life-changing ever since.
We felt like we got hit by a 2x4, but it was the best 2x4 because what we realized is that our priorities were clearly out of line. I had been building a home-based business and had been working 80 to 100 hours, and I realized that that is not my role and that I had actually taken my husband's. And it was that realization that something had to change, and we immediately went home and changed everything. There was no hesitation. We said, you know what? We need to be obedient to God.
And we've implemented the tools day one. We started implementing what Dani taught us, invested in ourselves, invested in our kids, got our priorities in line. We've now actually paid off just not quite $60,000 in debt and looking at a couple more investments here as head of the household.
It's been absolutely incredible. So I just encourage you, if any of this speaks to you, if you're wanting to get out of debt, if you're wanting better communication, if you're wanting to elevate to the higher level of life, get to First Steps to Success and plug into DaniJohnson.com.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
What's the difference between winners and losers? Listen, I've spent way too much time in my life being a loser, whether that was losing in finances, losing in marriage, losing as a parent. And I've also spent quite a bit of time winning in those areas as well. Today we are talking about, and I'm hoping to pull the champion that is inside of you out of you. So the difference between winners and losers, or a champion, champions must have a strategy. They must have a plan. They must be self-disciplined, and they must have a laser focus. We just finished hearing in the last segment from Byron Friday from Los Angeles, California, a former BMX champion, sharing how he became that champion and then how he lost it. And in the loss, he changed his focus. He went from focus, that laser focus and that unquenchable desire every day to master his craft and surrounding himself with other people that were doing the same, to now the focus on hurt, wounds from the past that drove him deep into an alcohol and nicotine addiction, that then drove him into self-harm every day. How has he turned it around? He says, simple biblical counseling. Simple. Forgive. Extend grace. Focusing on love and loving yourself. Caring for yourself. Also, he has surrounded himself with a totally different group of people. Because when you're drowning your sorrows in victimization and alcohol and drugs and whatever other kind of pornography or self-harm or whatever the other addiction is, you're surrounded by people who are doing the same exact thing. Surrounded by people with the same exact mental focus. But when you submit yourself to counseling to deal with those wounds, then now you have invited wisdom into your life, and now you start surrounding yourself with other people. So Byron, right before we had to take that break, you were about to share with us one experience that happened in your healing. Please share, and then I'm going to take another call.
Okay. In my counseling was Bible-based, but also with my yogi, and he asked me to search for the top 3 things that about my perception that I could change, and to focus until put away my distractions, my computer, the internet, social media, and focus on what are a couple of simple things would become like a force multiplier. The one thing that could create a subtle shift over time if I practice it. Yep. And here's what I acknowledge. Here's my epiphany. Here's my moment of clarity. Is I realized that I was a typical person in the rat race, and that I was so overreacting to everyday occurrences. Just throughout my whole day, overreacting.
You know, like the toaster doesn't turn on, or the phone doesn't work, or you can't find your charger, or somebody, cuts you off on the road. Overreacting about all those things. Everyday stuff. Yep.
Exactly.
There's a reason why I wanted to point that out, because there's someone that is watching or listening on the radio right now that's them. That's them. And they think it's normal. They think it's acceptable. They think that's okay. And it's not okay. I love it.
Exactly. So exactly. I went back to the yogi and I identified that, and he said, okay, well, you have to search for the answers. And so here's what I came up with: is I realized that I was acting surprised at every single thing throughout my day, and I was exaggerating the simple inconvenience of a guy cutting me off or someone going too slow and I didn't make the green light, okay? And I was exaggerating into these minor inconveniences into bona fide injustices.
Wow!
So this level of anxiety was brought in by myself. This is self-sabotage.
And that's self-harm. That's self-harm. Exactly.
That's it. Okay? So that's my rock. That's the takeaway for today. Okay?
Wow.
That you are exaggerating a simple inconvenience, okay, into a bona fide injustice. And in your mind, it's an injustice, but that's why, because you're emotionally vulnerable.
Yes.
So that's my takeaway, Dani.
Wow, that's massive, dude. That is absolutely profound. That is a Facebook post right there, man. It is. That's actually a daily fix. We're going to pull a daily fix from this conversation. I don't know if you get those emails every day, but the daily fix is, you should read it because your name's going to be in it.
Yes, I do.
Yes,
and
you do.
I have
awesome.
2 year books. I have the First Steps to Success and another one. Escaping my memory right now.
Spirit-driven success, probably.
Yeah, but here's what I'll tell you. The kind of things that I just shared is it kind of I regularly get these nuggets of wisdom from you. Aww. They're like emotional endorphins. Okay, so that's what I try to live on. I have 5 or 6 golden nuggets of spiritual endorphins.
Wow.
That I have. That's my foundation right now.
So
okay?
awesome. Byron, I'm so proud of you. And God has given you such a laser focus. He's given you such the ability to focus on that which is good and noble and pure and praiseworthy. That's everything you're talking about right now. I mean, it is absolutely incredible that you could be so transparent with yourself and honest with yourself. Again, as you said earlier, when you were a kid, right, becoming a champion as a BMX biker, that you know, honesty, being truthful, that those are part of the values that was imparted to you by your parents, and that you surrounded yourself with other kids that were focused on those same things. You created this alliance with that. You're doing the same exact thing as you're picking yourself up off of the floor to win and be a champion again. You are a champion, Byron. I'm so proud of you that A, you're transparent. You're not afraid of your weaknesses, and you're not afraid to look at them with a completely different mindset, completely different perspective. And I love what you said, that everyday occurrences that everyone has, right? And turning them into bona fide injustices. And that's just based on how you see it. So stinking proud of you. Okay, we're going to Amy from Cleveland, Ohio. Amy, what is a champion to you? What does it look like to you? How do they act?
All right, I guess there's a lot of ingredients that would go into the mix to making a great champion. But to boil it down to just three main things, I would say hard work.
Yes.
Hard work like nobody's worked before.
Amen.
You have to just invest in yourself, invest in your vision, and work hard.
Yes.
And then always strive for improvement. I think there's so many areas of life that we can just do better. And I remember like a quote from Jim Rohn where he says, if you could do better, shouldn't you?
Yes.
Try to remember that, is that we can always be striving for improvement and to just never, never, never give up. So I guess those would be my three components. You work hard, you strive for improvement, and you never, never give up.
Amen. Man, and that's kind of been the theme throughout the day, Amy. I don't know if you heard the woman who'd lost 270 pounds as she was sharing her example of how she did that. And then, of course, Byron Friday. Man, I don't know about you, but I'm inspired today to do better. And I agree. Work hard, harder and smarter than anyone else that will around you. And how does that apply to your life? Friend, that's with paying off debt. You apply that championship mindset to paying off your debt. You use that championship mindset to building your company or your business or working in your job. You use that same mindset in your marriage, in your sex life, in your relationship with your kids, in your relationship with your God, your spiritual life, your physical body, the things you choose to put in your mouth. Are you being a champion or are you being a loser? Only you can answer that. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need. Stay right here for more of the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, this is Dani Johnson. Let me ask you something. Do you dream about being more confident, more beautiful, more powerful? Are you that girl who never learned to wear makeup and now you're lost in a sea of YouTube videos? That busy mom who can't get enough sleep and just wants to feel pretty again? Or maybe you're that professional who wants a little more respect in the office. From the boardroom to the bedroom, celebrity makeup artist Xtina Harmsworth from XMH Beauty will help you. Xtina has a track record of making beauty easy on any budget. Her live classes, simple step-by-step professional beauty techniques and insider secrets will set you apart from the crowd. So don't sit on your dream another minute. Learn from the best. Get your exclusive free gift from Xtina today at xmhbeauty.com/Dani. That's xmhbeauty.com/DANI. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org. I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
This is one of those moments where I want to go, argh! The almost decade and a half of basketball that I played, and obviously playing in championships, playing on teams that were state champions, and then playing on teams that just stunk. There's a big difference, and really the difference is the mindset. And I don't know what it is about us, but like as soon as we get beyond school and we're no longer in a place to be a champion anymore, we just kind of we put the trophies aside, we put the awards aside, we put the going for the blue ribbon aside, and we don't try to be a champion anymore. But I promise you right now, you are required to put a championship effort ahead of you. You are. That if you want success in your life, it requires a champion effort. It requires the focus, the laser focus. It requires the never quitting, never giving up. It requires analyzing and being very self-aware of what your weaknesses are and making small improvements every single day in order so that you can succeed. And where should you be a champion? Everywhere. Your marriage should be a championship marriage. At the end of the day, or end of my life, I want the gold for my marriage. I do. I want that gold medal for my marriage. And by golly, I'm going to do whatever I possibly can within my power to be the kind of spouse, wife, woman that is going to be worthy of that gold medal. And how is that going to look? How I communicate to my husband, Hans, how I choose to love him in the midst of both of our failures, how I choose to extend grace when I don't want to because that's the right thing to do to be a champion in marriage. How will I do that as a parent? The same. That I will not try to control my kids, that I won't try to protect them, overprotect them, that I will be one to spur them on and yes, make corrections when corrections need to be made. And at this point, you have to understand we have like 5 adult children now, but even as a parent to them, and now my soon to be 8 grandchildren, that's a lot of kids that are in my life, but I want to be the best that I can, be engaged, sowing things into them, speaking things into them that's going to help them be a champion in business. Being a champion in business, not being disconnected from the business, not being uncommitted, but being a champion means that you've got to have an unwavering commitment to the success of what I'm doing. As a businesswoman running a few different companies, as well as helping the extreme poor from all over the world, I am championing their voice, building 1,000 homes with you and I. This is what we're doing together. We're taking care of the poor. We're building incomes. We're changing lives. That requires a champion effort. You're a champion, friend. It's time to get off the couch. It's time to stop playing those video games, unless, of course, you can make a lot of money playing video games, which chances are I don't think you can. It's time to read some books. It's in fact, here's a good one. Here you go. First Steps to Wealth. It's how I went from homeless to millions. My first million just in 2 years after I was homeless. Get your copy today. Go to DaniJohnson.com. DaniJohnson.com. Read this. Start reading books, other people's books. Start studying. Start learning. Start training yourself to become that champion that you know you are called to be. This is Dani Johnson. Thanks for joining us today. God bless you. Have a great rest of the day. Talk to you tomorrow.
Did you hear that last segment? Do you know someone else who needs to hear it? Go to DaniJohnson.com, find today's show, and share it online. Join us every weekday at 7 a.m. for more insights that will help you get to the life you've always wanted.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson YouTube channel. We're super excited to have you here. And every single week, we're gonna make sure that you get awesome videos for your business, career, making more money, saving money, annihilating your debt, as well as helping you to handle those really tough problems that you have with people at home, as well as at work, and taking those really good relationships you already have and causing them to flourish and grow. All you have to do is click that subscribe button right down here. Click that and you'll be subscribed to an amazing community of people, as well as some great videos that will help to improve your life. Thanks so much for being here. Subscribe now would be good. Just click it. I know you can see it. It's somewhere down here. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.